Welcome back to Purgatory After Hours on Guido.
Excuse me. I think you're in my chair. I think you need to get up so I can take my seat now. Come on, let's go. Wait, something's still off. That's better.
Hi guys, welcome to Purgatory After Hours. I'm Moi, I'm your host today. Guido was kicked out by our beautiful and new guest, Skyler. We have Skyler here from Purgatory from New York, actually. So, hi.
Yes, hello. My name is Skyler. I'm from Purgatory Tattoo in Albany, New York. So I'm down here today for the podcast. I'm super excited.
I'm happy to have you here, Skyler.
Yay!
Skyler is pretty cool, pretty talented, and so excited to ask you a bunch of questions.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
So, Skyler, tell me, how you started in the industry? What got you into tattooing?
Yeah. So, basically, I've always drawn. Since I was a kid, I've always been painting, charcoal, even watercolors, like, everything. The art-related makeup, special effects makeup, a lot of different things. Growing up, I had a lot of people telling me, like, you should draw my tattoo, or, like, you should be a tattoo artist, like, all the time. And I was like, oh, I don't know how you get into that. So, kind of gave up on it for a while. But then, when I was a teenager, I was still drawing and stuff. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I could make something of this. Kind of did my research on how to get an apprenticeship, things like that. And then I ended up finding Guido, because the pizza shop I worked at, one of his clients came into.
A pizza shop?
Yes, I used to work in a pizza shop. So a client came in, and I told her I really liked her tattoos, and she told me that Guido did them. And then she told me that he was about to open up a shop, and that's the shop now that I work at in Albany. So I ended up looking up his work and everything. I really liked it, and then I went to the shop to meet him, asked if he would teach me and show me the ropes, and I'm so grateful that he said yes. So that's kind of where I got to here, and that was like almost 5-6 years ago. So
5-6 years.
Yes.
So what was your style of drawing? What like made you like click into tattooing?
So it's actually funny because I drew mostly realism, but I don't tattoo realism at all. My drawing style has completely changed since getting into tattooing. I thought that I had this skewed view that you had to like draw realistically or you weren't a good artist. Yes. And then I kind of learned that wasn't true because I saw all these great artists that, draw in different styles, and like, I wanted to do that too. So getting into tattooing, I learned how to make things in a more legible, tattooable style. But yeah, I started with realism. It just evolved from there. So
I think we get like a little bit intimidated when we see like, because we always like see realism tattoos and we're just like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be. Exactly. Everything it's supposed to be like this.
Exactly.
So I think it's kind of scary because at least for me, I came with a different style. Mm-hmm. I knew how to draw realism. I just didn't like it.
That's so valid. That's so valid.
Not even drawing. No, like I could do it, but I didn't like it. And I was like, can my stuff be tattooed?
Right. That was kind of the issue I found with it. Is I was like, okay, like I like learning how to draw, and I do like the act of drawing, but it didn't go further than that. Like I wasn't having my artistic freedom with it because I was just trying to draw the picture. And so, getting into more designs and stuff that I would tattoo, I got to have a little bit more fun with it. And, like, honestly, I think I excelled more in changing my style up. So now I do a lot of, like, illustrative, like, I like black work, I like dot work, stippling, things like that. I'm really into black and gray, more so than color. I used to draw a lot in color, now it's more black and gray. So, over the years, I've changed it a lot. But if I didn't do it every day, I wouldn't have been able to find my style, so
you feel that's your style?
I would say, yeah. I would say that's like
your
my strength. Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's great.
What would you say for yours, you think?
I like color. I like that. I've always done, like, colorful stuff. Mm-hmm. Not into much black and gray. I'm starting to get into that dark world.
Yeah.
I've been trying to avoid it, like, all my life, because I'm really, like, a colorful person in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm starting like, why not? Like it's more of a technique. Like Absolutely. You just like apply it to another thing, and
I really admire everyone who is like super into color like that's their thing, because it just doesn't make as much sense in my head. So I'm like black and gray, they're like different tones, we're good. Open skin.
Contrast.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I'm like, okay, this makes sense to me, but it's just like fun to see everyone's brains work differently. So
and it's funny that Actually, Skyler today did a tattoo on me.
I did.
Yeah, and it was one of my flashes. And while she was tattooing me, I was thinking like it's cool to see how everyone interprets like a same design so differently. Because I would have done it like so differently.
Right.
Technical difficulties.
So Skylar, did you go to any tattoo schools or?
No, I did go for a year of college. It was
Okay.
for art history and gallery management because I actually thought I was going into museum curation because I do have a love for old art.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so I have a couple like famous paintings and sculptures tattooed on me just because that was like my main passion at first, but I just wanted to be able to create myself. I was in college while I was an apprentice at the shop, so and I did have a part-time job as well at the pizza shop. So it was a lot at once. I like never had any days off really between all three of those things. So I did end up after my first year not going back. Just so I could pursue tattooing and like put more time into that. So
That was risky.
yeah, I know, but you know, things started to pick up. I was like a desk girl for a little bit. So, you know, I waited until things were picking up a little bit more, but I still did work my other job. But I did end up kind of putting all my eggs in that basket, hoping that it was going to work out. And, you know, I would say it did. So it was a good choice.
So you feel this is going to be your job forever?
Absolutely. I love my job. I have so much fun with it. I'm an extrovert. I love meeting new people every day. Everyone's a different experience. I love even my returning clients that I see all the time. I get to know about their lives and know them. So yeah, I would do this forever until, you know, I get my carpal tunnel probably earlier than I want to, so.
Until my back gives
No,
in.
exactly. So, what about you?
Well, I didn't go to tattoo school,
Mm-hmm.
but I went to college.
Mhm.
I almost graduated. I had like just like a couple months to graduate.
Really?
Yeah.
What were you going for?
I studied journalism in Venezuela.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, it was nice except with like political situations in Venezuela.
Yeah,
Studying that wasn't like
understandable.
my best choice, but it wasn't something that I was like pursuing. It
Understandable.
was more like pleasing, you know, like here, mom, here's my degree.
Right.
But in the meantime, while I was in college, I was like working at studios, visiting friends. So I was always like inside a studio at some point.
Around the art.
Yeah, doing something.
Right.
I tried to study before that graphic design.
Okay.
That didn't work.
I'm not a huge listen, this sounds backwards because I know a lot of tattoo artists now use the iPads, but I'm not into graphic design that much. Besides drawing on the iPad.
Yeah. That was something I didn't like. Like, it was just like logo, you know, like it
Yeah,
was
like that stuff I'm
very,
just not into.
there
I totally
was
get it.
no freedom, so I was like, nah. But that teach me a lot, like how to deal with clients and like ask exactly what you want and like, you know, like that kind of interview you do.
Yes.
That helped me a lot. That's something I keep from it. And journalism, at least, I think it didn't work for shit.
Understandable.
To my
But you got the
tattooing.
people skills, so I feel like that's super helpful. Because, like, I feel like that's, yes, you can do good tattoos all day, but, I mean, you gotta have the people skills, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you gotta be a people person.
Yes.
Yeah, at some point. I like talking a lot to my clients. Like,
Mhm.
if I need to, like, I just listen to music sometimes, but usually I try, like, to ask
Right.
certain things when I see, like, they're really comfortable. I just, like, you know, how are you getting the tattoo? Or is this
Mhm.
something special? Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Like my old joke of the of the cherries on the fingers.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, it's been an experience dropping out of college. I
Yeah, that was the one thing my grandma told me not to do. So she's not a big fan of tattoos, like at all. Doesn't have any tattoos. Never wanted me to get any. She cried when I came home with my first one, even though it was like this big. So she said, you know, and I told her I was getting into tattoos, and she said, you know what? I don't even care as long as you don't drop out of school. And I said, yeah, of course not. And then I didn't drop out of school. So
it happened to me too. Like
Mhm.
I remember getting my first tattoo when I was decent. I waited until I was like 18 to
I
get my
also
tattoo.
waited until I was 18.
Yeah.
We are good
I mean, I
noodles.
had a bunch of piercings.
Yeah.
But I waited for my first tattoo. And I remember telling my mom, like, oh no, I'm just gonna get a little something,
I always dress that way.
And I just came home with huge wings on my back. And she's like,
that was your first one?
Yeah, that was
my
first
god.
one. And she was like, what the fuck? Why? I thought it was gonna be something small.
Yep. That's what my grandma reacted the same way. She thought it was gonna be
Yeah.
the size of a dime, she said. Like,
yeah, it's a tiny little line thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, pieces of wings. But I think that's something that when you're a teenager or when you're growing up, I'm not sure if it was like for everyone like past years, but I think in our generation we were a little bit like scared, like showing up with our idea of I want to do this, I want this for my life. And you know, being different is something that parents are always going to be like, oh,
a little bit
drugs. Oh,
right.
no.
Right.
So I guess like that was, at least for me, it was like a step back. Like, should I do it? Should I don't do it?
That's kind of why I was hesitant, because I'm like, I know people feel a certain way about them. You get looked at differently, and like obviously that's like a choice that you're making. But I know like with my family not being as accepting of them at first, I was nervous to even get into it, because I'm like, oh god, what are they gonna say? What are they gonna think? And I have had a lot of negative comments from extended family and stuff, but it's been, like I said, it's been like over 5 years now. Everyone kind of understands that it is actually a real job, so I don't really get those comments anymore, thankfully. So
you're making money, great.
Right. Like no one took me serious in my family until I ended up like moving out and like paying my own bills and getting everything situated. And they're like, oh, okay, it's a real job, I guess. So I'm like,
Skylar, have you had like any inconvenience in the industry as a female, as you know?
I definitely would say yes. I think any women in the industry will feel the same way. And I will say I am grateful that I don't have too many crazy experiences with it, because I did get to apprentice under Guido at his shop. And he's honestly been like such a great mentor. I've learned so much from him, and I'm so grateful that I've been able to stick at this shop for so long. We have had other artists that have come and gone, that I've had some strange experiences with, I would say. It's not so much the artists, though. It's more like male clients. Like, they, every time, and this still happens sometimes, like, they'll come in and think I'm, like, the desk girl when I'm like, nope, I'm doing your tattoo. And they're like, oh. But especially before I had a lot more tattoos, like, I still look, like, younger than my age. So, like, people thought I was, like, a kid. I was a teenager. Like, I'm like, no, I'm doing your tattoo. And I was like, how old are you? And then, granted, I did get into this when I was 18. So, I understand that hesitation. But, I've had some creepy, like, clients that, like, they wait until the other artists walk out and then they say stuff to me. I had this one guy specifically I remember because he was probably the weirdest. We had another artist that used to work at the shop. He walked out to go smoke a cigarette, and this guy was like, I'm wrapping him up around his tattoo, and he's like, so, my next appointment, you gotta wear booty shorts to it. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, because I'm getting a whole half sleeve. I need something to look at while I'm getting tattooed. And I'm like, yeah, so that's not gonna happen. Weird. And then he's like, okay, well, you gotta at least show me a picture of it then. And I'm like, I'm not showing you a picture. Anyways, he kept pushing, I dropped it. I'm like, whatever. I didn't want to say anything to anybody because I'm like, I'm new, I'm the apprentice. Like, I don't want to cause any problems with clients, so I just didn't say nothing. And then he comes back, same thing, waits until the other artist leaves, and then he's like, so remember our deal? And I'm like, what deal? He's like, you still have to show me a picture of it. And I'm like, so no, that's not happening. Comes in a third time with his wife, doesn't say anything to me. I'm like, okay, of course. So, definitely had some weird ones. That one sticks out to me, but...
That's...
Yeah. I'm sure. Have you had some weird things happen?
With clients, I had, like, you know, like, I just, like, tattoo them, and I think that sometimes men think that because you have, like, a tattooing moment with them and stuff, they give you the right that you're already their friends.
And tattooing's very intimate, you know? Like, you are, like, touching, like, you have to talk about this idea, meanings, like, preferences and things like that, so...
And they just text you the other day, like, hey, what's up? And I was like, okay, how's your tattoo going?
Right.
And they're like, great. Are you doing something tomorrow? And I'm like, work.
Right.
Work.
Is this related to tattoos?
Like, yeah, but with clients, I think all my clients, I mostly have tattooed females.
Yeah, I would say most of my clientele is females, for sure.
Yeah, I've always, like, mostly females. I remember, like, after COVID, most of my clients were people over 40, and I was
Okay.
like, why? And I remember asking this one client, like, like, I've been having lately, like, a lot of clients your age, and female clients especially, and they're like, oh, well, COVID scared the shit out of me, so I'm doing what I'm getting the tattoo I wanted before something else weird happens in the world. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, I remember when we opened back up after COVID, like, business was booming. Like, everyone was waiting.
Yeah. Everybody was like, it's my moment.
Yep, exactly. Like,
just in case the world ends tomorrow.
Exactly. So, but I would say at least now I've had some kind of strange, like, experiences with male clients. Thankfully now, I would say most of my clients that are actually, like, all of my, like, returning male clients now are, like, super respectful and, like, honestly, like, very friendly. Like, I like to kind of have, like, a friendly relationship with my clients where, like, they come in, we can chat because we're tattooing for hours, you know.
Yeah.
We chat, I know stuff about their lives and things like that, and, like, you know, they'll bring, like, their girlfriends, wives, things like that in, and we get to chat as well. And, like, now it's a really good dynamic, but definitely in the past had some weird situations, so I'm sure you can relate.
Yeah.
You know?
I remember this once in Peru. It wasn't a client, but it was like a potential client, and I just left him like my number, you know, like, oh, I want to get this tattoo cover up, and I was like, oh, okay, great. So I just left him my number, and I remember him texting me the next day, like, oh, I'm the guy from the tattoo I wanted to get covered, blah blah blah, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Right. So you can come to the studio because I actually don't remember what I needed to cover because he showed me, but he was like a cab driver and stuff, and he just started stalking me and like texting me, and then at some point it got like really weird, and he's like, you know, I know where we work.
That's a strange thing to say.
That's scary.
That makes me fearful.
Yeah, that's scary. It was a scary situation at that point, and then I was just like, should I hand out my number? Should I hand out my card? And it was like a couple months that I was like really uncomfortable, like, you know, to get me out there like we normally do, like we hand out flyers with our stuff. But then I just like, you know, it was a bad situation. I understand like not everyone is like that, but it's still something we have to like keep our eye on.
Keep in mind. I know I had to stop giving out my number to clients like for that reason. I had some called me like nonstop, and then I had to like block numbers, and then you feel this like guilt because you're like, I don't want to block a client, but like they're clearly not that interested in like your tattoo work. And like that's another thing with like being a female in the industry is like they'll like some men will act like they are interested in your work and that like you're so talented and this and that, but like they really just want to like take you out or like talk to you or, you know, whatever their motives are. And I'm like, oh god, I thought someone was actually interested in my art. And it's a little disappointing, but you know.
Yeah, you're like, oh, you're not getting that cute sparkling tattoo with colors and splashes.
Right. I'm like, oh. And then also when I was coming out of my apprenticeship, like a lot of people, like guys would be like, oh, well, you can practice on me. Like, I have skin for you. And I'm like, oh, hey, I've been doing this for, like, a few years now. Like, do you want a piece or not? I don't know.
That's when you start seeing all the guinea pigs pop up.
Yeah. They're like, I'll be your guinea pig. I'm like, oh, thanks, I guess.
Oh, no.
Yeah, definitely a little strange. But I think the main struggle is, like, people just, like, not taking you seriously as much. Just because, like, nowadays I feel like there is a lot more, like, female tattoo artists than there used to be. But I think, like, the main struggle that I run into still to this day is, like, people either thinking I'm the desk girl or, like, that I'm not actually a tattoo artist or that they don't trust me or my opinion because I'm, like, a young woman in the industry. So, yeah, I would say that's probably my biggest issue at the moment.
Actually, your issue, I think it's everyone's issue at some point because it's something that we deal with. Like, it's something that I think it just is in the industry, but also is like in the street too. So it's
just
like
the female experience in general. Absolutely.
Being a woman is hard.
Yeah.
So Skyler, tell me about your convention experiences.
Oh, I've been to so many at this point. It's funny because I think back to like my very first one, and my first one was actually a very small one in Springfield, Massachusetts. I remember being so nervous because it's a faster paced environment. That's actually where I learned that I do better under pressure because I thought like, oh my god, this is gonna go so bad because I'm not good under pressure. But then like you get in like this mode where you're just like, okay, get the client their idea, go stencil it, put it on, tattoo,
you get hyper focus.
Yes, exactly. And then so it's like you still want to be personable with your client and whatnot, but there's a lot going on. It's loud. It's not your usual environment that you're tattooing in. So you gotta adapt. You definitely have to be good with that. But at this point, I've done so many. Like I said, I did Springfield, I've done Baltimore, I've done Cleveland, I've done San Diego, Philly, like a bunch of different ones. So I'm really happy that I've been able to have that experience and like have clients all over. Is crazy to me. I'm like, you found me and you want a tattoo from me and you're states away. Like, that's so neat. But yeah, it's definitely where I learned that I do well under pressure, because I can back-to-back tattoo quicker at conventions and efficiently.
That's
and
great.
it's really cool. And you meet good artists too and make friends, and I love when people actually are like willing to like talk and have conversations and like share tips and hang out and stuff, as opposed to just being so like, nope, you're taking away my clients, or like, I'm trying to make money and you're getting in the way of it. People are more friendly, I feel like.
You do. That was something like I had an issue back home because I saw like there was a lot of competition, so I was like never interested in going to conventions in Latin America because that was like the attitude. Like everyone was like against each other, like breaking bottles, like
Right.
But it wasn't like a friendly environment. So unless it was like and then like inside your shop, people's like your friends. But aside from that, like everybody was like, no.
Right.
But I'm excited like to go to conventions here.
You have one coming up, don't you?
I do.
Tell us about it.
I'm going to Jacksonville next January 28th.
Okay, so it's coming up quick.
It's right there, but I'm excited.
You're going to have a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool people you get to meet.
One of the things I'm most excited is like to see other people work, like how they work. Like
it is different, because I've definitely taken my walk around, and like people set up different. They like place stencils different. They lay you down different. Like it's really cool to see like people's process. And even to get more into that, like I've been tattooed at a lot of different conventions too. Like a lot of my tattoos are from conventions, just because like I like to collect. Like I don't just get tattooed by like a couple different people. I've been tattooed by like 20 plus different people. And like I started doing it as an apprentice, so I could pick their brain while they tattooed me, and like no one's ever minded, thank God. But I can only imagine like some girl sitting in her chair just like, so what needles are you using? What machine is that? What are you running it at? Like I was probably so annoying.
That's great. Asking stuff while you're getting tattooed, like why are you doing that? It's great.
And I have learned, yeah,
I do it sometimes, especially because when I don't know what they're doing, and I'm like, well, that's new.
Right.
So, so tell me, what type of inks do you use? What's your favorite?
So my go-to, I love Panthera Lining Black. That is my favorite black ink ever. I feel like it gets in so solid. I will say that one of my strong suits is my line work. I use that one for my line work, and I will never switch it because it's my favorite. So I always take it to the conventions with me, just in case that they don't have it and I run out or something like that. But I stipple with that. I do my black work with that, my lines with that. For color, when I do rarely do color, I always go for Eternal. I'm not a big change person, so like I stick to what I know is going to work and then like run it from there. Yeah. So are you the same way, or do you change it up?
I've been trying like other stuff. I like Allegory now.
Yeah?
Yeah, apparently. I really like the black of Allegory.
Mm-hmm.
I like how it heals too. Because I had a tattoo
Right,
and I just saw it here and I was like, oh, that looks pretty nice.
Yep. When I can't use Panthera, I'll use the Allegory, which is what I used on you earlier, and it comes out pretty nice.
And inks, I'm pretty like, with color, I'm like a little bit of everything, because I feel like some inks, some brands have like good colors and others have good colors. Like, I love Eternal. It has a bunch of good break colors, but I really liked Fusion lately, because they're
tried Fusion before. Yeah, I've had good things.
Lately, I've been like, it has like really good colors, and I feel like they heal pretty good, like some of them. And I love World Famous. Oh, but I hate the caps.
Okay, wait, those are the ones that you have to like click on.
Break.
They're so strange, and they always rip off, and then I'm like, great, I have ink everywhere.
Yeah, I love their greens, I love their yellows, but those
caps.
Those caps are terrible.
Right. And I'm the type where I'm like, if one thing like that bothers me, I won't buy it. So
and just like I think like everybody every time they post something, everybody is like, when are you changing the caps?
Change the caps. I know I've had a mishap with one of the caps before. And you know how ink is to clean up off the floor,
Oh,
of your
yeah.
toolbox, all this stuff. So
Or when you like get a brilliant idea and I'm gonna tattoo today with a white shirt.
oh my god, it's always the days too. You're like, I'm gonna look cute today. I'm
Yeah.
gonna wear light colors. No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my other struggle as a woman. It's trying to get my outfits to work.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's true.
every pair of jeans I own has ink splatters on them.
Oh yeah.
I'm not throwing them out though. I'm wearing them to work still. I don't care.
It once happened to me that there was this once I bought a black shirt and I was like, oh yeah, finally a black shirt to work, and I just
Right.
splattered it like with white ink and I was like,
Great.
well,
You're like, just when I thought I was safe
yeah, and
wearing
I
black
just
to
looked
work.
like bird poop and I was like, oh wow, why?
That's why like I wear a black a lot to work because of like I don't want to get ink or anything on it. Stencil stuff is the other thing.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the gentian from the paper, that gets on everything and I don't even know how, like it'll be like on my eyebrow and I don't know how it got there.
I
So
got it on my bag and a couple days ago and I was like, dude, my white bag,
Right? And
my
you're like, it's not coming
backpack,
out now.
forget it.
Yep. Because it's like I do like to dress in lighter colors, but
Yeah.
I simply can't make that happen at work.
No,
so.
it's like getting your nails done. Like,
Mhm. Oh my god, yep.
forget about your long, beautiful nails when you're tattooing. I mean, it's possible, but it's not.
It's not
no.
like practical.
No, it's
you
not
know?
practical.
I used to get them long, actually, and then I learned how to pierce, and then I
Mhm.
said, this is not gonna work.
Oh, you pierced too?
Yeah, I don't as much anymore, but I did, I have pierced for about 4 or 5 years, too. So that was mainly kind of how I started and was able to quit my part-time job with tattooing, is because I
Oh.
learned how to pierce first.
So you were a piercer first.
Yeah, so I was the piercer at the shop for a while.
Ah, that's
So,
cool.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
fun
well,
stuff,
oh, I did a little bit of everything.
Yes, yeah, I feel like it's good to learn a bunch of different skills, especially like if you're not in the same shop forever.
Yeah.
It's like you can take, certain skills and apply it elsewhere, you know what I'm saying? So
I want to learn how to pierce. It looks fun. Like I've done like ear piercings or like basic
Yeah.
stuff, but like everything else still is like
yeah, it's fun, but I feel like piercings are harder to heal than tattoos because they take so much longer.
Oh yeah.
So like there's more problems that come with that. So
I had my cheeks pierced when I was 17.
okay.
Like yeah, I had like 5 years or 9 years. No, not 9 years. I'm lying.
Well, for a while.
Like 5 or 8 years with them, and I feel like they never healed. They were
Yeah,
just-
I've heard that a lot with them. I actually never did that piercing just because I've heard about all the complications with them.
Yeah.
I actually have a story. This one client that came in one time. So I don't know what shop did this to her, but she came in with her cheeks pierced, but it looked like long bars coming out of her cheek, like kid you not, like 1.5 inches long, just sticking out of her cheeks, and I'm like,
Why?
are you okay? And then so she came in and she was like, yeah, so like I need help with these. I'm like, oh, so you just need to change them out to something shorter? And she's like, no, this is like the needle. The needles are still in my cheeks.
What?
And I'm like, wait, that's not it would hurt, wouldn't it? And she's like, yeah, no, like they just let me leave like that. It's been a couple months now. So
What?
yeah, the needles are just stuck in my face. And then I'm like,
How didn't that?
I have no idea, but I went and I felt inside there was like a ball of tissue like around on each side of her cheek. So I'm assuming that formed around the point of the needle. But like, I'm like, you have to go to a doctor. I'm like, that is. But I don't know how they let her leave like that.
That is insane.
It's one of the craziest like cheek piercings I've seen because I was like, I thought they were bars. Like,
Well, I actually got scared after I got them, because I had to go to the dentist to get checked, because I
Mhm.
was like, oh, why isn't this healing?
right.
Because I was scared. Like the first month, I just got like one of my cheeks just got like super swollen, and
Right.
like the next week, the other cheek got super swollen, and this one was not swollen
Right.
anymore.
Or like, can you both just work with me, please?
Yeah, and I just felt like my cheek was like super hard, and I was like, it's disinfected, but it doesn't hurt. So I just went to the doctor, and he's like, no, that's the tissue that contracts and stuff. And I was like, dude,
You're like,
I look terrible. I look like Kirby.
Right? That's why I say like so many issues come with piercing, and like this has even come
Yeah.
with myself because like I was like the piercer that didn't have that many piercings, so I had like my ears and my nipples, and I had my belly before, and like but I didn't have anything in like my nose or anything like
Mhm.
that. So I don't know. So many, even with my ear piercings, I've had issues with. Like I want so many more, but I don't like healing them. They take
Yeah.
months, and it's not
Mhm.
fun. And I'm a side sleeper too, so that also
Oh,
adds,
that yeah,
that adds
yeah,
extra.
the helix when
Mhm.
to go to bed, it's terrible.
Yeah. So that's I love piercings. as a concept. You know?
Working, getting money for them,
Right.
it's great, but
But getting them myself, no thank you.
no, I wouldn't get the cheek pierced again. They looked cool. I'm not
No,
gonna
they do
lie.
look
They
great.
they
They're
look
cool.
cool, but they're a pain in the ass.
That's what I imagine with them. So
Yeah, I figure it's like with your nipple tattoos too. Like I feel like it takes a while to heal, but I don't know. Cheeks are another thing. I just feel that thing moves a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Your mouth moves.
Well,
a
it's
lot.
like anything in your mouth, like piercing wise, like it's gonna take a while to heal. There's like you gotta worry about your teeth and things like that too.
Oh yeah, they break your teeth, right?
Any oral piercing runs the risk of like chipping your teeth, chipping away at your enamel, like things like that. So you gotta really monitor it. Like tongue piercings, like it's really common with, just because it'll rest like on the roofs of your mouth and then it can start to erode over time.
What?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That's why they're not my favorite. I did a bunch of them. There's a lot of tongue piercings you shouldn't do, but I only did the basic one, so like the vertical through the center. But some people go crazy with like snake eyes, frog eyes, and those are the horizontal ones.
Those are the ones that go like into the.
Yes, and those are like super bad for not only your tongue but your teeth. So, definitely had a lot of calls at the shop for those. We always have to turn them down. I try to explain why we don't do them. A lot of people get upset that we don't do them. But it's like we're just looking out for the clients, you know?
I actually experienced when I was back home when they did a tongue split, like live.
Gee.
Yeah, I was like there watching.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I was like, wow.
That's a process. I've never seen one actually get done, so I don't even know how they do it.
There's a lot of blood. There's
a
lot of blood.
Yikes.
It's pretty gory stuff. Like it's super quick. It's like a 10-minute thing.
Really?
Yeah, they just like you put the anesthesia and then you're like they cut. They do like the small cut and it's basically just swing around and it's like 15 minutes. It's super quick. Jeez. But it's super gory. I mean, it looks cool. Right. I wouldn't get it. It looks cool, but
I might be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that we're not even allowed to do them in New York. So I know there's some regulations on stuff like that. But yeah, because I don't know much about the procedure, so I can't really say much. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I've heard that you're not even able to do them, or you're not supposed to at least. But again, I'd have to fact check that. So.
It's a big procedure. Like I just feel like everybody's getting it right now. Like if it was nothing, but it's a really, really big modification on your body.
Oh, absolutely. That's with anything though. Even like I have a lot of clients that get like teeny tiny tattoos and like because I do a lot of line work stuff. I can do fine line and things like that too. So basically they'll come in being like lately especially like I've had all these small ideas, but like I'm nervous to ask an artist to do it because I feel like it's a waste of time. And I'm like, no, it doesn't matter if it's a teeny tiny heart. Like that's still a body modification. It's still permanent. Like I hate that whoever has made them feel like they have to downplay that. And it's always like young girls too. And I'm like, well, I'm the artist for you because I do tiny tattoos all the time.
And I love them.
Right. Well, it's like I really don't feel like it's a waste of time. I don't know like why anybody says that.
I just feel like from years from now, like it's gotten so common like to have a lot of tattoos that people that actually just want to get one or just want to get two are like
they feel like bad about it.
Yeah, they feel like, oh, there's just not enough. I'm not, and I just feel like like years ago it was like you have one tattoo, you're cool as fuck.
Right.
But now it's like
right, it's like whatever.
Yeah.
Under the one tattoo.
I also think like I'm not a fan of like certain styles of tattoo that have appeared on the past years, the like
me as well. You got any styles in specific you're not a fan of? So no comment.
No comments. But like, it's just like bad drawn stuff, like in purpose and stuff. I just feel like, I mean, I understand that it looks funny or it looks, but it's not as
timeless as people think it'll be.
Yeah,
I think is what it is.
Like, I just think it destroys a bit of like the aesthetic of what we do. Like we put so much effort in like doing designs and doing like original stuff and stuff that looks cool, and then someone just comes and scribbles and
they're like, I want this scribble on me, please.
Oh yeah. Well, there was this once when I used to live in Peru. It was a kid, because he was still a kid. I'm not that old, but he was still a kid. He was like 19. And this was after COVID. Like, we were still with our masks on and stuff. And he said, like, oh, I want to get a tattoo. But he didn't have, like, any tattoos, and he wanted a face tattoo.
Oh, he wanted to start on his face.
He wanted...
At 19.
Yeah, he wanted, like, 2 letters under his eyes. Like, you could see them. Yeah, he wanted, like, so close to the eye that you could see them over the mask.
Okay.
And, you know, everybody was like, are you sure?
Right. That's a big decision.
It's a big decision. It's a face tattoo. And it's also your first tattoo. So it's like...
That is a wild first tattoo.
Yeah. And then I didn't do that because I was like, I'm not doing that.
No.
I don't, you know.
The only singular time I ever did a face tattoo as their first tattoo was because this girl had gotten a face tattoo from a different artist and it was poorly done. So I was like, okay, it's your only tattoo. It's on your face. I will fix this for you.
I'm going to be a humanitarian.
Yeah,
person.
I was like, this is the only reason I'll tattoo your face is your first one, though. Because if it's someone's first tattoo, especially if it's a younger kid, like, I don't think in my right mind, my right conscience, I can do that for you.
No.
So.
And this boy got this tattoo done. And I remember my friend, because my friend did tattoo him.
Okay.
Yeah, and he asked him, like, oh, and these... Like, it was, like, 2 initials of her name. It was like, is that your mom's? It's like, no, it's my girlfriend's.
Oh, of course.
But wait, here's the best part.
Geez, okay.
It's my girlfriend. Oh, you've been a long time with your girlfriend? Well, we've been, like, 3 months together.
Oh, 3 months, okay.
3 months
okay.
of face tattoo, and I remember telling him, like, are you aware that there's no laser removal here in Peru, right? And
he's like, go somewhere for that.
Yeah. No, Peru doesn't have laser removal, so
he'd have to go to, like, another country for that. That's crazy.
No, he's like...
That's wild that they don't have laser removal down there.
They don't.
Huh. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Not yet.
See, up here, it's so, like, there's, like, places you can go that, like, offer it free to tattoo artists and stuff. At least in New York, anyway. But, I've gotten one session of laser before.
You did?
I have. It hurts a lot. I didn't do it again.
Really? I've never, like, met someone that had laser removal.
I had, Guido had laser removal, too, before. So, before he got his, forehead done. Yeah. So, but it's like, you know when you cook with grease and it, like, splatters on you? That's what it feels like. And it's
continuously.
It's not a good time. I had, actually, my husband, he's getting his whole arm lasered right now. It's like the process. It seems brutal. So I commend him.
What are the aftercares for that? Like just like cream?
Honestly, it was a while ago, so I don't really remember. I'm pretty sure it's like ointment for a few days.
Does it smell like burnt?
It's a weird. Sometimes it like gets like really hot and bubbly and like I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
You're like,
so.
I smell like marshmallows. Toasted
yeah,
marshmallows.
like why is my skin toasty? Like it's not a fun feeling. So that's why like. At this point, like, I don't have anything that I hate that much that I would go through that, you know? So, like, I can just cover whatever.
I just blacked out a couple days ago on one tattoo. Actually, my wings, my first tattoo, I blacked it out.
How'd that feel?
It was horrible.
Oh,
it was horrible.
I imagine.
I was like, I didn't remember back tattoos hurt this much.
See, I want my back done really bad, but I just can't decide on what. But I hear hit or miss, like, some people are like, I fell asleep, and other people are like, this was the worst pain ever.
I don't know, like, I remember, I think as you get older, your pain tolerance changes a lot, because I remember, like, being 18 when I got, like, all this huge back piece done, and I was, like, sleeping.
Right.
Like, all...
And now it's, like, blackout.
And I was, like, today, I was, like, doing lines, and I was... Oh, jeez, I was
doing
crying.
lines.
I usually don't cry during tattoos, but with this one, I was crying, and I was like,
blackouts seem like they suck. I've friends with a lot of artists that have gotten blackouts done, and all of them universally say it sucks.
Okay.
So it's not just you.
It's not me. It's not me. Have you had like any tattoo that you said this is the most painful shit ever?
My elbow. You can probably see it on the camera, but I got my elbow done. This was actually. I had no tattoos on my right arm, and then I got my elbow done as the first one on this arm.
The first one?
Strange choice. Don't know why I did that. Glad I did, because then I could put everything around it, and now I don't have to worry about it. I got that drilled with a coil machine. That was really fun. But, I've never needed to touch it again after that. Like, honestly, like, my elbow tattoo, I love how it sits on my elbow and stuff, so it was worth it. But I don't want to do my other elbow. That sucks.
That's how much it sucked.
Yeah, no, it was not fun. I probably will end up doing my other elbow, but I'm saving that for a later time. What about you? What would you think your worst one would be?
My worst one, probably the ribs.
Yeah.
Ribs hurt.
That
a
doesn't
lot.
surprise me.
Ribs hurt a lot. Like, I don't know. I just felt like it was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Spicy. No,
Spicy.
it was painful. Like, I usually have a really good pain tolerance. Like, I can sit down like with my legs for like 12 hours and I'm not dying. I'm not crying. I'm just like, staring at the void.
Yeah.
But with my ribs, it was like 2 hours with line work, and I was like,
I'm done.
I'm done.
Mhm.
I'm done. Don't touch me.
Yep. It's so weird because it's like everyone's so different with it. So like I've had people tell me their ribs don't hurt, but then like I thought my ribs hurt, and I only have a tiny one on my ribs.
Yeah.
So and like I've had people like my chest tattoo is like one of my like because I have both sides done, and I thought that was one of my easiest ones. And I've heard people saying collarbones suck. They hurt. They're terrible. Even before I got them done, I had a bunch of my friends were like, "You're not gonna sit through that. Like that's gonna be terrible." And like, genuinely one of my easiest ones. And I'm like, it's just so weird how everyone tolerates pain different.
I just think it's depending on the person. I've seen people like sleep when they're getting their backs tattooed, and
Right. I've had clients fall asleep while I'm doing like other tattoos too, and I'm just like, hey, buddy.
Like I said today when you were tattooing me, I'm dead from the waist down.
Right.
Like I don't feel when I'm getting my legs tattooed. I don't know if the blood flows doesn't work, but
I remember tattooing myself in that area, like on my ankle, and I was just like so focused on doing the tattoo that I like didn't even really feel it. So
have you done tattoos on yourself?
Just one. I just did one little flower on my ankle because it was what I could reach, and I didn't do color. I mean, I don't do much color now, but I like really had no experience with color at the time. And I was like really worried I would mess it up, so I didn't want to like ask one of my friends / guinea pigs to come in. So I ended up like, it was a snow day at the shop too. So everyone went home, and I was like, this is the perfect time to tattoo myself. So I put it on, the stencil on, I'm like, okay, it looks good. And I'm like, I'm going to do this in color. And because I wasn't nervous, because I was like, if I mess it up, then I can only be mad at myself, no one's going to be mad at me. That pressure taken away, came out great. I was like, oh, lovely. But I still don't do that much color now. But for the time, I was like, okay, I can do this. This is good. But I never really tattooed myself after that, because I was like, not that I don't like my own art. I do like my own art, but I just don't want it on me, because I already see it all the time anyway. You know?
I get that feeling.
I like having other people's art on me. I like to collect everybody else's, because it's different than how my brain would do it, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it's true. I usually think that way, because some people, I don't know if you've been asked this question, but there's people like, oh, did you draw that? And you're
all the time.
Yeah, with your tattoos, did you draw them? And you're like, no.
Right, I'm like, most of them I haven't. I have definitely drawn a couple of mine, and like had them tattooed, but like, that was, again, when I first started getting tattooed, and I was like, oh, well, I can draw, so I want to draw my tattoos. Now I'm over it. I'm like, I either pick something that they drew, or like I'll be like, here's my idea, you draw it, and then I would just rather have someone else do it in their way as opposed to me, because I really like to, like I said, I like to pick people's brains about why and how they do things the way they do, and I feel like that's just part of the process. Yeah,
like I said, it's like you see how other people interpret your idea, and I think that's the cool part. Like,
exactly.
Like, at least I have like a bunch of random stuff like vampire garlic. I have dinosaurs. I have a bunch of stuff. So I always like, I have a great idea. Especially to my coworkers, like back home, I was like, I have a great idea today. And they're like, what? What now?
They're like, oh, geez.
Yeah, I need you to draw something for me.
Right.
But it's cool. It's cool. I really enjoy like having like these crazy ideas sometimes and seeing how other people like picture them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you have like a tattooing style that you want to get into in the future?
I have a lot of big ideas. I don't know if I'll execute them. Like, I've seen this like color painterly like style. It's like dot work, but it's like color, and I've seen a lot of people doing it with like Renaissance paintings and Baroque paintings. I think it's so neat, and I would absolutely love to learn how to do it, but it seems so complicated. And like, because there's just like all of this like the dot shading, but then you gotta like mag in certain undertones, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can even grasp all of that, but like ideally I'd love to say that's a goal of mine. I don't know if I would actually be able to learn how to do it. I do want to work on my black work more though. I really love when I get to throw solid black in tattoos, but again, I'm also a fine line artist, so I have a lot of clients that are scared of that. Which is funny because they're kind of opposite. You have like heavy blacks and like bold lines, or I'll have teeny tiny fine line, light stipple shading, and like I kind of lean more towards like the bolder blacks, and I love my clients that trust me and let me do that. But I am still kind of trying to perfect a way to like have enough open skin and enough black to where there's like really good contrast and legibility in the piece. Only being like 5 years in, which I know it's quite a few years, but I have so much more to go and so much more to learn, and like it's really just gonna take time and practice to get there. So
definitely, you're gonna learn every day.
Absolutely,
new.
absolutely.
I think one of the things I would want to get to learn in the future. Well, I'm learning now black and gray.
Yeah.
Which I thought I would never do.
Right.
But I would really like to learn color realism.
Okay.
Even though I've been like a really strong against realism person all my life, because I'm always like living this childhood dream of drawing my own cartoons on people.
Absolutely.
But I think I love how it looks. I love the technique they use. So I think that's probably one of my goals, or what I want to like end up.
Oh,
not forever, but like I want to do it. Like,
well, it's good to have different styles that you do.
Yeah.
Like I love doing traditional tattoos, like a good, solid American traditional tattoo, whether it's color or black and gray. That's like, honestly, I really do love doing color traditional tattoos. Nobody ever asked me for them, so I never get to post them, but that's how I learned, was on American traditional. So, like, I can do a solid traditional tattoo, nobody ever asked me for it, so I don't get to do it anymore. So, but I feel like it is good to know different styles, because me coming from a walk-in shop and still working at a walk-in shop, and probably forever being someone that will have time for walk-ins, like, it's good to have different skills so that you can kind of accommodate people. Obviously, you have your specialties and whatnot, but I like being able to meet people that like different styles, and like you get different personalities out of that too. So it's fun. It's a good time.
What's something you like to draw, like in general? Like, is there something like...
I always say anything nature related, which I know is like a pretty basic answer, but like I love like specifically frogs. I really like doing frogs. That's so cute. I have a frog too, but you can't see it right now. Well, I have a toad. But he's sitting on a mushroom and he has a little umbrella and it's raining, and it's like, his name is Franklin. It's the cutest thing ever. But I saw it, and another local artist did it, and I was like, I need that on me immediately. So, but yeah, I love little creatures. I love doing plants. I like doing flower. I like specifically like unique flowers. So like I just had a client that probably for the past 2 years we've been working on her sleeve. It's all poisonous plants, poisonous insects, like just cool things like that. And we finally finished it, and I like just love the whole arm together. But like I've never tattooed or heard of half of those plants. So like I like getting to do new stuff, that because obviously I do a lot of like roses and cherry blossoms and leaves and things, and I love doing those things, don't get me wrong, but it is nice to have a little change up, but I feel like my style fits good with nature stuff.
I think at least for my part, now that you're saying the nature stuff, when I started tattooing, like, you go through like phases in your life of drawing different stuff. When I started tattooing, I was doing like this, because when I draw, I usually, not in my iPad, but traditionally drawing. Yeah. I have like this really traditional that looks like fairy tale drawings. Yeah. Because it still looks like cartoonish, but it looks like kids' drawings, like from old books. And I remember my clients coming to the shop. I don't know if you've seen my work, but I remember my clients come into the shop and say, it just looks like my childhood books, and I love it. It's
like childhood illustration, like the books you would read.
Yeah, actually, that's one of my dreams. I really would love to illustrate a children's book.
That would be awesome. Yeah. My sister's actually she was in the process of writing a children's book, and like I'm not big on color illustration, so it was kind of hard for me to be able to do any illustrations for her. But like I'll have to let her know that that's right up your alley, to be honest.
I love that. I love all of the illustration. I had at some point a client actually, now that I think about it, that was pretty rude. He was like, "Oh no, I really like your style, but it looks like really childish." And I was like,
Like, sir, excuse me.
Excuse me?
Like, I don't think that came off how you meant
I
it
was just
to.
with my Hello Kitty shirt and my Care Bear stuff. Like,
who are you
excuse
calling
me?
childish?
Who are you calling childish? But it's kind of funny now because I think that's kind of the stereotype people build their heads in. Like, you have to look tough. Like, you're a tattoo
my God,
artist.
I know.
You have to look tough and you have to look like a rock star and
Right.
stuff. And then you just come like, I'm the tattoo artist.
Right, especially, oh my God, I love in the wintertime when you cannot see any of my tattoos, and then some guy will call, like, yeah, I'm trying to get, like, numbers on my face, and I'm like, okay, come in, like, someone will take care of you, and then, like, my 5-foot ass walks out, and I'm like, hi, I'm getting a tattoo today, and, like, they're like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, I feel like, look like your typical tattoo artist. I don't have as many tattoos as I would like, but I've only been able to, like, legally get tattooed for, like, 5 years, so I'm trying to catch up. I work a lot, okay? So,
I remember that, at least in where I used to work before, our studio was like super pink and the walls were pink and plushies everywhere, anime stuff. And I remember people walking in like, oh, this doesn't look like a tattoo studio.
Right.
What the hell is this? It looks like a candy shop. And we're like, hi.
I like how the aesthetic's kind of changing though, because I feel like with like take like a clothing store, you can walk in, there's a bunch of different styles of clothing, so like the decor in the stores are going to be different. I feel like it used to be all tattoo shops were like dark and like skulls, roses, like
motorcycles,
big guys that tattooed head to toe, and
like
it was
Guido?
like, yeah. But you got to get to know him and realize that he's actually really nice.
Yeah, he's actually pretty
So,
sweet.
but like these hard looking guys, and then so a lot of people were like even intimidated to like walk into a shop and get a tattoo. And
that's what I saw last episode.
Yeah.
I was like, when I saw him, I was like, holy shit.
Listen, when I first walked in to meet him, I felt the same thing. I like had seen him online, so I knew what he looked like. And I was like, oh my God, this big guy, like he's. I've heard terrible things about apprenticeships. So I'm like, I'm gonna show him my portfolio. He's gonna spit in my face and tell me to leave. I'm like, okay, but I walked in and he was just like, can I help you? And I was like, are you Sean? And then so like I showed him my portfolio, and then he's like, okay, I gotta talk to some people, and then I'll reach out. Thankfully he did, but I was really intimidated at first.
I thought he was gonna laugh at my drawings, a bunch of bunnies and Care
See,
Bears
no,
and
he can
rainbows.
appreciate different things.
Yeah,
you know?
he was like, oh, this was really cool. And I was
Right.
like, oh, thank you.
Right. I only had 2 tattoos when I actually asked for my apprenticeship, and they weren't visible because one was on my foot and one was on my rib. So he was like, do you even have tattoos? I was like, yeah, I have 2. But I've collected over some time, but I'm a little bit picky, I feel.
Are you keeping count on
So
your tattoos?
I don't know how many I have, but I'm like picky with what I get, and I feel like a lot of tattooers like, have random stuff, and don't get me wrong, I have random stuff. Yeah. I just like when I started at the shop being 18, I was like, okay, I have all of these people older than me telling me like, oh, I have this stupid shit that I got when I was in my 20s and blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, I have to be mindful not to make bad choices. But like I still have stupid shit on me. I have tattoos that I don't like. I have tattoos that didn't come out so great, but like I remember the stories behind all of them and like who did them and like what we were talking about when we got them done. So I'm like, I wouldn't change my layout. So
yeah. I think people like sometimes like just like bottle up in that a tattoo has to have like a super deep meaning. Mm-hmm. And at least in my side, I always said like I just get tattoos that make me happy.
Absolutely.
Like, stuff that makes me smile and makes me happy.
I know it's permanent, but like it's not that deep. Like it's not that serious. Just take
vampire garlic.
That's right, like mushroom frog. Like it's it's. I know it's a permanent change to your body, and like obviously, I'm not saying just go tattoo fucking whatever on you, but life's not that serious. If you think that it looks good and it's cute and it's gonna make you happy, just do it. It doesn't need a meaning. Fuck what your family and your friends are saying.
Unless it's the initials of your
maybe don't get
on your face.
Maybe don't get names on the face. Yeah. But I mean, I have done my fair share of names on the face though, so I can't really talk. But
well, Skyler, I'm really happy that you were here with us.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
I hope you're back soon because you're
absolutely.
Pretty cool.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
I loved hanging out here. I
actually don't miss Guido today.
I know I kicked him out. I feel bad.
I mean, he's pretty great, but
Right. Little change, little girl chat is nice sometimes.
So, Skylar, if somebody wants to get in touch with you, get your work done by you.
Oh, absolutely.
Where could they find you?
So I'm always booking on Instagram. Instagram is where it's popping. It's currently at Skyler Sager. That's SkylerSager on Instagram. My TikTok handle is Art by Skyler. But yeah, you guys can find me on there, and Facebook, it's the same. So hope to hear from some of you guys. Thanks for having me on.
So bye guys, see you next time, and bye.
Bye.